as you said, my name is McAlister. I'm a graduate student here from the Department of Communication, and I'm also a UTA alum, so yes. So I'm going to be talking about advocacy through social media. How many of y'all use social media with a show of hands? Don't be shy. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so those of y'all that use social media, how many of y'all use a hashtag? Raise your hands again, don't be shy, y'all. All right, still a few amount of y'all. So one thing I want y'all to think about is, every time that you use social media, you're sending out a message. This message you're sending out, depending upon what medium you use, or social media platform, however you prefer to say it, says something. You're either saying something about an event going on, maybe it's the meal that you just ate. I'm talking about y'all, Instagram people, taking photos of your food. We all do it, don't be shy. Maybe you're trying to get a job on LinkedIn. Social media has been around and it's been very important. But if you stop to think about the numbers behind social media, the numbers in the sense of looking at how many people use this. 90% of young adults, 18 to 29, use social media. Men and women for the first time in history have equal usage online. That means there's equal representation for the first time online for men and women. And 50 to 60% in 3 categories of race, African American and Black, Hispanic, and white, are online. Unfortunately, this study from Pew Research Center did not look at any other races outside of these 3. So what I want you to think about is, these numbers, they say something, right? Voices are being put online. Things are being said that really matter. So what I did is I looked at the top 10 trending hashtags from 2014 and 2015. And I examined them and looked at them. Cool, yeah, those are hashtags, what do they really matter? Well, this all plays into my passion. I love social media, I study it, I've written multiple papers for grad classes on social media. But also it plays into human rights. So one of the passions I was given early on from my parents, who one had an English degree, the other one had criminology, criminal justice, so talk about a diverse background. They gave me the understanding that when you are raised and you think about everybody else you interact with daily, you're interacting with other humans. They may have different identities every single day. Everybody's a little bit different, but they are still equal. They all have rights, and everybody should. So what I did with these top trending hashtags is look to see how many of these express human rights issues. So, 2014, great year to start with. Here are the top 10 hashtags from 2014. Everything from Alex from Target, to Bring Back Our Girls, to Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter. There's a little bit something for everybody up there. Now let's go ahead and remove the ones that maybe just don't really apply to human rights issues. Sorry, tan suit, you're not on the list. That leaves us with 7 hashtags that have a discussion about human rights issues. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through a couple of these so that we're all on the same page and totally get these. Yes, all women. This is from a May 2014 incident, a violent attack in California, where unfortunately 6 were shot and killed, and 13 were wounded. This really brought about a discussion about the injustices and violence that women face on a daily basis. A perfect example of this is, I walk to my car every single day, from the parking garage to here, back and forth. I have to have my keys out and my pepper spray out. Why? Because I don't feel safe. It's nothing any different anywhere you go. I still have my keys and pepper spray out, even to go get mail from my mailbox, because I'm a woman. Bring Back Our Girls. In April 2014, 276 girls were kidnapped by the Boko Haram. This really put on the map an international issue of human trafficking and, once again, women's rights. Pictures, much like this one of Michelle Obama, were circulated across online, including how many days these girls were still missing. Ice Bucket Challenge. I'm sure many of y'all have done the Ice Bucket Challenge. Y'all have that video, or maybe your favorite fail video, it's okay. This happened in summer 2014. It really brought about understanding Lou Gehrig's disease. It really led to a surge in donation dollars in a disease that was not getting the same press as everything else. For once, there was a discussion outside of something on cancer or Alzheimer's. This disease was able to actually see much new research happen because of this social media post. I am Mike Brown. August 2014, Michael Brown was shot and killed. This really brought in the conversation of police misconduct and racism in America that is still going on currently today. Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter. I'm sure everyone in this room at this point has probably heard of one or both of these hashtags. Black Lives Matter brought about the discussion of understanding really what does it matter in this world and day. Trayvon Martin's death really spurred a whole conversation of injustices that are still happening today, even though we've already passed civil rights movement. We've moved past forward by a couple decades now at this point, and there's still something going on. All Lives Matter came about after 2 police officers were shot point blank in their patrol car. This really decided to have a conversation on the counter side, that everybody's life, no matter what, matters. But when you do that, you're taking away from the whole discussion of Black Lives Matter really being a conversation of injustices to one particular group of people. 2015, another 10 hashtags to look at. That's right, guacamole with peas. New York Times put out a recipe, it became a top one. So let's go ahead and remove the ones that really don't pertain to civil rights issues. That leaves us with 6 hashtags up here. I stand with Ahmed. This started in September 2015. An Irving teen was perceived to have a bomb, but it was actually a homemade clock in his classroom. This led to a discussion about profiling and discrimination of Islamic individuals, something that is still also going on today. Refugees welcome, fall 2015. Syrian refugees were trying to find different places across the world to flee to. This hashtag was sent out by citizens of European countries to show support, to bring in these refugees, to support them in their time of need. However, they were countered with racism. Love wins. On June 26, 2015, marriage equality became a reality in the United States. At this point, 6.2 million tweets of praise and support filled Twitter. Facebook filters became a reality. And finally, something that was a dream for many people was real. Black Lives Matter. This continues from the list of 2014 because this is still ongoing now. Additional cases of police misconduct and racism and inequality were being experienced at this time and had to be discussed. And the top one for 2015 is actually a combination of 2 hashtags, Je suis Charlie and Pray for Paris. This is after the Charlie Hebdo attacks on January 7th, 2015, and multiple attacks in November 13, 2015 in Paris. This one has a personal spot in my heart because my husband and I were actually overseas during the first attacks of Charlie Hebdo. We actually left Paris just in about 24 to 48 hours prior to these attacks. So we were over there and we experienced the power of social media and how necessary social media was to reach back out to our family members, to say we're okay. That and Google Video, when your parents want to see you. This also became a discussion about terrorism and international issues that are still going on today, that terrorism was not just a United States issue, but it's a worldwide issue. It opened up many people's eyes to see past just their country. So what do we do with all this information? That's nice, Karen. You showed us a bunch of hashtags. You gave us a nice story. What I want you to do is be informed about these hashtags. Do not use these hashtags just for the sake of likes, retweets, or any favorites. Use these to create a conversation that is larger than yourself. Your voice in this time is just as important as anyone else's. But what if we look at these, looking at these different hashtags at a larger issue? Pray for Paris stands for terrorism. Black Lives Matter, equality. Bring back our girls, human trafficking. Refugees welcome, immigration and refugees. And I stand with Ahmed, profiling and discrimination. If we look at these as part of a larger conversation, we begin to see that each one of these hashtags stands for something larger than itself. If you look at those, many of those issues are actually becoming current issues in the presidential race. Many of these issues are what we're about to have to vote on in November when we select a presidential candidate. These issues are larger than ourselves. I understand that. It might be a little bit daunting to think about that hashtag being part of a larger conversation, but when you tweet out support for Paris, Brussels, or any other city when they've had an attack, you're showing kindness, you're showing humanity. Don't be afraid to do that. I'm going to leave y'all with a quote, probably one of my favorite ones, to be honest. It means a great deal to those who are oppressed to know that they are not alone. Never let anyone tell you what you're doing is insignificant. When you think that using that hashtag in a particular conversation is insignificant or it's not going to make a difference, it does. Those trending hashtags became top hashtags because each individual added to that conversation. Don't be afraid to add to that conversation. Use your voice to do good. Be an advocate for those who maybe do not have a voice at that time. You never know when you might need them to be your advocate. Thank you.